Hello everyone. Sorry I am a few minutes late. I kept getting feedback. I will give you guys a few minutes to hop on. When you join us, go ahead and say hi. Let me know you are here. Hopefully you are all able to hear me. I was getting feedback. I don't know what I was doing. I'm trying something new with the streaming service. So if you can hear me, post a comment. Let me know if you can hear me. It's not echoing. It's not being weird. Anything like that. So go ahead and say hi. Let me know you're here. Post a comment. I am using StreamYard tonight, which is new to me. So if I fumble through this, I do apologize. I will get better as we go. I hope it's still feasible. So we are going to open the June Bling box, and I'm going to show you guys what was in this box. I had a lot of fun putting together this one. Let's go ahead. So in this one's box, you had your thank you card, which this month we included a coupon for 5 off 25 your next order. You can use that on any order. The only exclusions are on kits, flock, decal, and sales and clearance items. And then on the back, it has the items that were included in this month. This pattern was printed, and then the one for the other project, you can print this from your account. If you can't access it, please email me. Sometimes when I add them, some people can see them and some people can't, and then I have to send them the link. So there's that. If you have any issues, just email me and I will get it fixed for you right away. And I think I know what the problem is. So is that better? I think I got rid of the echo now. I hope I'm not hearing it anymore. Okay, so this is the pattern that was included in the box. This one I printed out for you, but you can also download this one, like if you wanted an extra copy. You can download this from your account as well. There are a few things that I will point out because this is on actually, let me show you the other stuff in here and then I'll point out the stuff on this that we should pay attention to when you are doing this. So this is the pattern for the one project. This is the 12-ounce, I think it's 12 or 16 ounce mason jar. This is from Maker Flow, and it has the twist on lid, and then inside it has a telescoping straw, so the straw gets bigger. And then they include their tumbler care instructions inside. So if you're making this for yourself, good information to know. But if you make your tumblers for clients and you sell them, this is a great item to have in the tumbler when you present the item to your customer as well. You know, it lets them know that they should only hand wash, they shouldn't put it in the dishwasher, don't drop it, things like that. So really good thing to have in the tumblers as well. And so I will put this back on. Then I included this little decal that you can put right on the top of the lid, and the hole will fit on like this perfectly. So you don't have to use this if you don't want to, but I included it just as like a little extra perk to go along with the flag pattern for this month. So And then I was so excited about these extra large jumbo clothespins. These are like 6 inches long. And I included the 2 of them in here. And then the other pattern that you can download in your account coordinates with the theme. And then this pattern goes for these clothespins. So this pattern fits on there perfectly. So there's those 2. The other thing that you can do with these is you can put like a magnet on the back and then like attach it to your refrigerator, and then you can like put your pictures in there. You could use it as like a chip clip. Several things that you could do with decorating this. You could put other different kinds of rhinestones on there. You could paint this any color that you want. I think it would look really cute. White with like your name on it as well. And then the rhinestones for this month, there was the SS10 in Sapphire and Cyan. And then there was the SS8s in Crystal. And then there is the SS20 as well in Crystal, Sapphire, and Cyan. So a total of 60 gross in this month's box. And then the two clothespins, and then the mason jar tumbler. And then you got the 2 patterns as well. So on the pattern, since this design, or since this tumbler is tapered right here, since it is tapered right here, I did make a few notes on the pattern so that you can adjust for that and not make the design like be too close together. So these, the stones that have the black outline is where the pattern changes. So normally the pattern is just repeating, but right here where there's the black ones, the pattern changes and it's taking out that small stone so that you have enough room to move the stones closer together and they're not going to be overlapping or be crowded. So there's, excuse me, there's 2 rows where this comes into play. And I outlined those where the changes happen. The pattern, those stones are outlined in the color black. So just pay attention to that when you're doing them. What is this? There's 64 stones in like this top row, and then the rest of them have 72. We use a total of 2,007 rhinestones in this. And then I also included the number of rhinestones per color. This is, the pattern for this is kind of honeycomb, but not exactly. Some people call this like the cushion method. To me, it looks more like a checkerboard where I'm like alternating my colors back and forth. It's the premise of the pattern is the same as doing the honeycomb pattern, or not the same as it. You're doing more of a straight lines vertically. You're still like nestling the stones in the honeycomb, like alternating them back and forth. With this, the thing that you want to pay attention to is that your lines as you're going, that they're still staying straight vertically and horizontally, because there's those smaller rhinestones. You can tend to have a lot more movement back and forth, and if you're not paying attention as you continue to stack them, you could get to where your lines start to go like they're like swirling around like the sides of the tumbler. So just take your time with it if it's the first time you're trying a pattern like this. So I will put all of this back in there. And I had a little bit extra time this week Just put it over here. I'm gonna close this. And I went ahead and I already made the tumbler for this. So this is what it will look like. I did not paint this. I think you can paint this, but I just wanted to see what it would look like with no undercoat. So this is what the finished tumbler will look like. And if you see, like here with your lines, you want to make sure that as you're placing them, you're staying straight going this way, because it's very easy when you get these smaller stones that they start to shift one way to the left or to the right, and then your lines can start to go this way. It might look like it's straight, but always kind of like look at your pattern as you're going, like look at it this way as well as looking at it this way to make sure that those lines are staying straight. You can always like make your little tick marks with your pencil to make sure that you're keeping them straight. And then this is what I did with the top. I put the star on there. So that star that was included in the box, you can put that on here. It will fit perfect right over the hole. And then I kind of just did a scatter pattern, placing the stones on the star, as well as, you know, kind of just the rest of it to make it blend in. I did try to go crazy and like keep adding more and more and more, but the more I added, the more it kind of looked too clunky. And you can probably put stones right here on the top or even on the side, but I was afraid with like washing it that there might be too much right there, and it's not completely straight right here, that I might end up like with not so great of like a connection or a seal like with the glue that I'm using. You could put some SS20s right here. They would fit, but again, I didn't think it looked right because of the space between here and there. It's really up to you what you want to do with it. But this is what the finished pattern would look like. And then with the top, there is the telescoping straw. So this straw pulls out and then it fits in here. Again, these are from Maker Flow. I love their products. They have lots of great stuff for crafters, you know. We had the pens and the pencils like in a prior month's box. So that's what the straw will look like in here. And for the bottom, because this is also curved, what I would recommend is not to start your pattern on that curved part. I put a piece of tape at the bottom all the way around so that I kind of had my starting point that was on the flat part of this. And all I did with that, let me see. To get the line for this to kind of like line up, I just took a notebook and then I opened it up to have a couple of pages open. And then I added more as I needed. But then I just took my pencil and then put it, you know, to make my line like that. So all you need is, you know, a notebook or another small notepad that you had. Depending upon how thick your phone is, your phone might work as well. Just get it to that height where it's right past that little ledge where the tumbler starts to be completely straight or the exact same size all the way around. It doesn't have to be perfect. You know, just maybe like 1/4 of an inch, and then make your line from there. And then this is just masking tape. You can use, you know, whatever kind of tape you have, like electrical tape works well because it's a little bit more flexible. But that will help you make sure that you get this first line straight and it's not on that curved part. What else? Mona says, oh yes. Hi, Miss Mona. How are you? Hi, Cheryl. Hi, Jody. Thank you all for joining me. I do apologize for the echo earlier. If you are on Facebook too, if you're on Facebook, I think that StreamYard like makes you accept like their agreement so that we can see your name. If you didn't do that, then we might not be able to see your name. It's just going to say Facebook user. So yeah, if you have any questions though, just post them. Mona, yes, I started at the bottom. Yep. I put I did that line with my notebook to get it right above the little lip. And then I made my line, and then I used some painter's tape to tape around that. And then I know that I have my line is completely straight right there. And the tape is going to kind of help make sure too that it doesn't move down past that because there's kind of like a little lip or a little edge there. So yeah, so I started at the bottom, definitely sand, clean, do all the normal stuff that you would do with a tumbler. Sand the lid as well. You don't have to go crazy, but sand every part of the surface that you're going to rhinestone. So yeah, so there's that. And then I did do the one of the clothespins that were in there. I do want to do both sides. I only did one. I started to color this with acrylic paint pens. They work great, except for the red one that I had kind of ran out. So then I went back in and I just finished it with Sharpie. I just colored this with a Sharpie. You can take these apart so that you can get everything colored. Just be careful of your fingers. You don't want this little part to snap back on you. It might hurt. So to take it apart, if you want to color it, this piece slides in this way on one side and then this way on the other side. So they're kind of the opposite. You can slide this first one out. You can slide it out so that then you can color both sides. I wouldn't recommend taking it off both of them because then you're going to have a harder time trying to open this back up. So after you get them colored, then you can put it back together. So just kind of pull it open a little bit and then slide it back in there and then slide it back together. So there's that. With this one, I think I'm going to paint it completely white, and then I'm going to change up the way that this would work. I'm going to put I'm going to glue like a magnet on the back of this, and then I'm going to put it on my fridge so that then I can like attach like my pictures and stuff, like pictures, and like hang them. They can like hang from the fridge like that, you know. You could use it as a really fancy chip clip if you wanted. What else was I thinking? You can hang like your notes if you like on your desk. You could use it to like hang, clip like your bills or your stack of like stuff, your stack of papers that you have. Put it just anywhere for decoration. You could put a name on this as well. It's big enough that you have room to kind of work on that. So there is that. Do you guys have any questions about what was in this month's box? Cheryl, does the design start at the crease? I'm not exactly sure what you mean by the crease. So it started, I mean, you could start wherever, you could start at the top or the bottom, but I started at the bottom. So I started here, and then the way that this is worked out is that these top 2 rows are on the part where it starts to taper. So you could make adjustments to this depending upon how it works out wherever you start. You could start here and then start with that same, but this isn't all the way up to the lip. So I wouldn't start right there. I wouldn't start right at the lip of this. Because all of the stones are not going to fit together nicely if you started all the way at the top. So let's see what else. She reads what's better. So I think that's it. Are you guys, are most of you, I think most of you are joining on YouTube, right? I feel like in the Facebook group, there's something with Facebook when I do lives that it's like people don't get the notifications. So it's just really weird. But I do have a lot of videos that I'm trying to finish up for tutorials, and those I will be posting over the next couple of weeks. So if you guys have something that like you want to see how to do, or you have questions about something, shoot me an email on Facebook or a DM on Facebook or an email at info@blingyourthings.com, and I can add that to the list of tutorials that we are doing. Let's see. Miss Jody. So we do actually have, let me see. We do have, I think I have two boxes for June that are left available. They are available on the website. Normally we do sell out every month. We do a pre-order for them. The boxes include 5 to 6 full-size rhinestone products, 1 to 2 patterns or SVG designs. What else? 1 to 2 projects each month, and we include free shipping, as well as there's always an exclusive discount on something from us each month, and you only get those discounts by being a member of the box for that month. So don't share your codes. It only works with the email that you used at checkout. Most months we include more stuff than we have listed. We try to keep the value of the box at $80, and then you guys get the benefit of the discount of getting it at 25% off. So the boxes are $59.99 with the free shipping. So you're getting about a $90 value of products for the $59.99. But for this month, I have a helper that helps us, and she made a couple extra boxes because she was not going to be here when we ship them on the 1st. So all of each month, the boxes become available on the 15th of the month, and then we ship between the 1st and the 5th of the following month. And we only make a limited number of boxes each month. I've been trying to add 5 more boxes each month, so that more people are able to get them and make the projects with us. I love seeing when you guys finish the projects as well. So if you are in our Facebook group, please, please, please post them. I would love to see your finished projects. I know someone had posted they used some of the stones in one of the boxes, and they used the pattern on like the back of their like notebook or something, which was really cool too. So sorry, long story short, yes, I think there's 2 boxes left for this month, for June. And then the July box will be available on the 15th. And then they will ship with the holiday. I might actually try to ship them. Let's look at the calendar. I can't see. I might try to ship them on the last day of June. Yeah, since there's a holiday, I'll probably ship on June 30th this month for the July box. So for this, I'm just doing the pattern. I don't know if you guys can see. I can't really zoom in on this app. So I'm just doing that cushion pattern, or I call it the checkerboard pattern, where I'm alternating back and forth. You can do it in a couple ways. You can either do like 1 row at a time and do them all this way. You know, do 1 row at a time. Or when I'm doing like multiple rows with the same color, I tend to do all of those colors like as a grouping, so then it's easier for me to like keep my line straight this way as well, for everything to line up. But with this pattern too, it's very easy. You need to make sure that let's see if I can get that angle right. You need to make sure that the top part of the rhinestone, the flat part, that's called the table. You want to keep the table of the 20s and the 10s lined up. When you do that, that's going to make your eye look at all of those being straight, horizontally and vertically. If you have one that's like maybe placed a little too high or a little too low, then it's easier to see, or it's more noticeable that your line is not like completely straight. So with this compared to like a regular like honeycomb pattern, you're probably going to have a lot more adjusting of the smaller stones to make sure that they're lined up this way and this way. So that's why I like to do kind of like the 3 or 4 rows of the same color at the same time, because then I can see if anything is off a lot easier that way. And then you can either do like your rows You can either do like your rows of glue or you can do dots. I like to do the rows because it's a little bit faster. Mona, do you have to prep the wood? So I would sand it, but I wouldn't sand it too much. You don't want it to where it starts to get kind of like fuzzy. You want it to be just a little rough. But yes, sand it lightly. You don't have to clean it like with alcohol, but I would brush it off with like a paper towel or something and get the dust out of it before you paint it. If you have like one of those canned air, you could spray it off with canned air. But a paper towel or a rag will work just fine. And then paint it. You could rhinestone right on top of it, just natural. You don't have to paint it. And I almost always use like 120 grit sandpaper on pretty much everything. That's a light enough sanding that it textures the surface and it doesn't like do anything crazy with messing up like your work surface. So let's see. So yeah, you can either place your stones this way, like one row at a time, making sure that you're lining up both directions. And you want the small one to be right in the center. Or you can alternate. You can work your rows this way. And when you're working with like the smaller rhinestones, I would recommend like sharpening your pickup tool kind of to a point so that it's easier to pick up those stones. And you're able to place them more precisely instead of with having a flat pickup tool. So So I think I will finish up this little section right here. And if you guys have any questions about anything, please post them and I will try to answer them before we get off. And since I'm going to stop there, I am actually going to just wipe up. I'm going to wipe up this little bit of glue so that it doesn't dry on me. And then I can leave it like that. But I think you guys can see kind of, I got to figure out with this app what, how I adjust my camera, because I couldn't figure it out. Obviously, I had the echo in the beginning too, so that wasn't helping. I do apologize for that. I'm sure I will figure it out next time. So, Jody, what is the difference with hot fix? So, hot fix rhinestones, 1 second, I will grab some hot fix. So, hot fix rhinestones are meant to be applied to something with heat because they have glue on the back of them. So the most common size for hot fix is SS10, and on the back of these they have little glue discs. So you would use like an iron or a heat press, and you would either apply these one by one with a with like a heat wand, an iron, or your heat press. Most times if you're using a heat press, you're doing like a larger design, say like a shirt or a blanket or whatever, and you're using some kind of template. Either you have like a pre-made design, or you're using template flock where you've cut out your design like with either your silhouette or your Cricut, and you've brushed all the stones into that flock, the design you created in the flock, and then you use hot fix tape to pick up the stones, and then you heat press it to your shirt or whatever you're doing. So the difference between the hot fix and flatbacks, where flatbacks just have the silver coating on the back, there's multiple different colors that they can be. The most common is silver. You could also see gold or pink, but don't let other people like fool you that if it has a gold backing that it's like a better quality rhinestone than the silver ones. It is literally the same type of material. It is just a different color. It's the same as this pink tray is the same one as this green one. It just is a different color. They're literally made of the same thing. But hot fix have glue applied to the back. Generally, you would apply this with heat to your final product, where with the flatbacks, you're going to need some type of adhesive to apply it to whatever you're doing. You can glue like the hot fix to something, but I wouldn't recommend it because that's not what they're intended for. That's not their intended purpose. If you're in a pinch, can you do it? Absolutely. Is it going to last? I'm sure it will, but it's just not their intended purpose to like apply more glue to the back to do them. Are there enough rhinestones included to do the top of the cup? Cheryl is asking. Yes. So there is a total of 60 gross of rhinestones included in this month's box. And this pattern only takes 2007 rhinestones to complete the whole thing without the top. So there's 1400, there's 10 gross or 1440 rhinestones in each package. So none of the colors in this pattern use that many. So I actually did the cup, the top, this side of the clothespin with all of the stones that were in the box, and then these are like, this is what I have left. So I am gonna have more than enough to finish the other side of this as well. And then you should have enough to do the other clothespin too. I don't remember how many stones are in that other clothespin pattern, but yes, you will have plenty of rhinestones to do the tumbler, the top, and the clothespins that are included in the box. You'll probably have some left over too. Mona says, do you use the same glue on the wood? Yes, I am just using Fusion Tack. The Fusion Tack, the white glue, dries clear, the same one that I use on pretty much all my tumblers. You could use, if you use, I don't use it personally, so I can't speak for it. The liquid fusion, I'm sure you could use that as well. I personally don't use it, so I can't speak to it, but this is what I use. And then I also use Bob Smith 30-minute epoxy. I like that one because then I can like mix mica powder or glitter into that and use that glue to color my background as well. So yes, I'm using the same glue that I would on my tumblers. Cheryl, are you meaning this is the crease right here? I start at the bottom. So what I did, let me put all of this up. Let me put these back in the package so that I don't mix them up with my sapphires. So what I did to start the cup is I put a piece of tape on the bottom and I marked the bottom. I kind of just eyeballed the spot where the curve, the taper gets straight, where the tumbler gets completely straight. And then I took a notebook and I placed it next to the tumbler. I kind of opened it a little bit and got like the number of pages, you know, like the thickness that I needed. And then I just took my pencil and laid it flat on the notebook and then turned it, you know, to where the lead is touching the edge of the tumbler, and then turned it completely all the way around so that that gave me a completely straight line. And then I used a piece of masking tape and I just put it right along that straight line that I made. You could also use like electrical tape because electrical tape is a little bit more flexible. It's going to be a little bit more precise right on that line. But you made the line with the pencil, you can still see the line, and you just want to use that to make sure that all of your rhinestones, as you place them, stay right there completely straight. And because you're using a pencil, you can literally just use like an alcohol wipe, like after you're done, and clean up that line that you made. Or the first time that you wash it, that pencil mark is going to come right off. You're not going to see it. It's not permanent. So I started at the bottom and then worked up. And then the pattern makes the adjustments for these top 2 rows that are on the taper to remove some of the rhinestones so that everything's going to fit nicely. And then the top is just that decal that was in the box. And I just kind of place everything scattered on the top. So there was that. You can add more up here, but I felt like the more I added, the more it kind of looked too busy. And I like it like this. I think it looks amazing. But I am going to do another one where I paint the back, and I think I'm going to paint the back just all white. You could use like Sharpies and color like behind everything. But I think that the stars, if I paint the back white, I think that the stars will pop out like a whole lot better. I still think that they look great like this, but I think with a white background, it would just make them pop a whole lot better. But I also wanted you guys to see that like you don't have to color the background for it to look great. So there's that. Okay. So I think we got everybody's questions. If you have any more, please feel free to let me know. I think for the one person who asked if there was a box left, there is 2 boxes left. If you wanted to snag one of them before they're gone, the July box will come out on the 15th, and then I'm going to ship those on the 30th this month because of the 4th of July holiday. So, unless you have any other questions, thank you all for joining me. Thank you for bearing with me with the echoing problems. I don't think I can turn the camera up. Normally I can like say bye to you guys, but I can't today. So, I will go ahead and wrap it up, and then next week I will have we'll do another live, and hopefully no echo, none of that good stuff. So thank you again for joining me, and I will see you all this month, or next week, next week. Oh, thank you, Mona. I'm glad you liked the box this month. I was really excited about this one. Like I kind of had this idea of like the stars and stripes one, and I had a lot of fun getting this pattern to work to make the stars and for everything to work out. So I was excited about that. I'm glad you love it. That makes me really happy. So, all right, guys, enjoy your evening, and I will see you next week. Bye.